Welcome again to my channel. This is Trev from Trevessence, and today I'm going to be giving you an update on the Melissa Silvera story. But before we do that, if you're new here, a very special welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you're a returning traveler, I want to say thank you for your continued support. Now, many of you might know by now that it was only about a week or two ago that an intensive investigation was opened into the death of Melissa Silvera. Melissa Silvera was a healthy 40-year-old woman who was found dead on the morning of November 10th at her home in Stony Hill, St. Andrew. At that time, her husband, PMP Member of Parliament, Joyland Silvera, had said that she had died peacefully in her sleep. And those were the sentiments that were repeated across social media. However, 6 weeks later, during an autopsy, I should say, it was determined that Melissa Silvera had 3 bullet wounds to her lower abdomen, and that was the cause of her death. Now, since then, there has been rumors going around. The deputy director, I should say, of public prosecution, Fitz Bailey, had come out about a week ago, and he said he was satisfied with how the investigation was going. But, the public is very curious, and we want answers. But we know we gotta wait, right? So I just got some unofficial report that the gun that was seized by the police from Joyland Silvera has had ballistic testing done on it, and it has been proven to be the gun that fired the shots that took Melissa Silvera's life. Now, what do you know? I don't know if you are surprised, but I certainly am not, because everything is so fishy. Everything is so sketchy. I can't understand how your wife, the mother of your children, the woman beside whom you sleep every night, I would assume, could die under such mysterious circumstances, and you are not turning over heaven and hell to find out what it is that killed her. That in of itself is very suspicious. And then to add insult to injury, to think that it is alleged that he was insisting that no autopsy be done. How could you as a husband be denying your wife an autopsy? Don't you want to know what killed your wife? Or do you already know? What would be your motive for not wanting an autopsy? So it is alleged that he adamantly refused an autopsy, and that it was one of the police officers who insisted that an autopsy be done. It was also reported that only one police officer went to the crime scene, and I keep saying, how could that be? I've never heard of such a thing, but then again, it's Jamaica. I never heard of one single officer going to investigate a crime scene, especially with death, a sudden death of somebody of such stature, somebody as prominent as Melissa Silvera. And one police officer go to investigate it? Well, that's what was reported, that there were only 2 officers at the police station at the time. So one stayed on duty and the other one went to investigate. It is also reported that the police officer went to investigate the crime scene, tried to pull back the covers on Melissa, and was told not to because they wanted to preserve her dignity because she was naked under the sheets. So the police officer did not get to see the condition of her body under the sheets. But I'm sure that must have sparked some curiosity. Like, so did she go to bed naked? Did somebody undress her after she had been found dead? What is the situation here? I'm sure the police officer was concerned. And then, to top it all off, he dismantled the entire room after his wife had been found dead, supposedly found dead. He dismantled the entire room in which she was found, threw out the bed, changed the tiles, changed just about everything about that room. And you cannot help but believe that that was an effort to contaminate the evidence, to destroy the evidence, so that it would be very difficult now for the investigators to determine what was where, whether there was blood on the floor, blood on the bed, what happened. Because I'm sure when they lifted up the body off the bed, they would have seen something. I don't know how this situation is so mysterious. How this death, everything around it is so mysterious. It seems like he went through a lot of effort to cover up his wife's murder. And one thing that came to my mind, Melissa was the only child for her mother. And as far as I get to understand, her mother has left behind a significant amount of wealth for her. Now you could have tell me that Joel and Silvera could have been so low and so small that in taking wife life in order to get his hands on the wealth of her mother. I don't want to believe it, but it is possible. And if that is so, that just brings on a whole nother level of disgust and disgrace to the whole situation. Melissa died leaving her children who needed their mother. Her children are very young. She was only 40 years old. What could be in the heart of a man to be so evil and so cruel, to take the life of your wife and then go through such extent to cover it up? Because he was hoping that everybody would believe him. Because you see, people like to believe politicians, you know. Politicians come around and give us all kinds of cockadoodle stories, and we think that because they are white collar straight jacket men, that they come with a measure of honesty. I know better. So here is Joel and Silvera trying to pull the wool over our eyes into believing that mysteriously his wife just went to bed and never woke up. Now the ballistic report says differently. But why is he not yet arrested? Why is he still walking the streets? What is going on? Aren't they afraid that he might take some drastic measures, maybe harm the children, maybe harm himself? I mean, why is he still walking around? Why is he not behind bars? Too many of these politicians are getting away with murder and getting away with other crimes. We are still investigating the case of Paul Wells' baby mother and his daughter, because that one too is not adding up. It's not adding up at all. But we are going to leave it right here, right now, my friends. When we get more information, we will be sure to bring it to you. But until then, this is Trev from Trev Essence, where your journey matters.